LA. Of course you can tell I'm in LA. Look at the view. You can also partially tell I'm in LA because I'm wearing a hat weirdly indoors. I don't know. It feels like an LA thing to just be like, why not put on a hat? But yeah, I live in LA. It was kind of a sneak attack. Most of the people in my life were like, what? I will say I'm not even really necessarily looking at it like a move per se. I'm looking at it like a place to be during COVID before I go back to New York, because I'm a New Yorker. I love New York. I can't imagine a world in which I'm not in New York. So I've been in New York 15 years. So yeah, my plan is to go back or to eventually spend my time once this virus is not what it is. But in the bigger picture, without sort of boring you with the gory details, at just sort of looking at COVID and the fact that we're going to be in this sort of quarantine place for a long time, a lot longer than I thought, a lot longer than all of us thought, I think. I just wanted to move to a space, number one, where I was closer to my family, closer to a lot of friends who've also moved out here too. And also, I knew that I was going to be working a lot from home and also just writing and creating a lot from home. And I wanted to be in a space that allowed me to do that, that gave me more space, that gave me the ability to have all my gear in one place, that gave me the ability to sit at a dining room table and to eat a meal as opposed to eating on my couch, which I've done in my little studio apartment for 8 years in New York. So, I mean, in every apartment I've had in New York, honestly. So yeah, just wanted some lifestyle changes. But I've not left New York permanently by any means. It's just for now. But when Joe's Pub gave me the opportunity to do a YouTube series on their channel and said it could really be about anything, when I thought about all the things I could sort of talk about or do, I want to talk about LA. I want to talk about being a New Yorker in LA because I feel like a freaking New Yorker in this foreign place. So I figure every week or every once a month, I am going to tell you one new thing that I've tried or experienced in LA, one thing that I miss terribly about New York, and then every week we're going to talk about my favorite thing ever in the world besides music: antique shopping. Oh yes, I love a good vintage store. I love a thrift store. I love an estate sale. And my God, does LA have it in just spades. I am so excited to get to that portion of our show. But let me start with one new thing I've experienced in LA. So far I would say, is this new? Well, yeah, I would call it new. I've had a driver's license since I was but a wee child, but I haven't owned a car since 2003, since I moved to New York, or 2004, maybe something like that. Actually, no, 2003 is when I moved from the suburbs in Northern California to San Francisco, where I didn't need my car. So I literally only had my little Toyota Echo for a year. So I have not had a car since 2003. I had a short time where I had a scooter. I got a motorcycle license and had a scooter when I was back in San Francisco, actually, in 2009. But I've not had a car for the majority of my adult life, other than going on gigs or going on vacation and renting cars. So when I got here, my thought as a New Yorker, I thought, money is tight right now. Let me just get to LA. I know that I can just walk a lot of places. The neighborhood that I'm in is called Melrose Hill, which apparently is between Larchmont and Koreatown. And for New Yorkers who don't know, I would say in my very short time of being here, I've been here maybe 3 weeks, Melrose Hill or Larchmont feels almost like, I can't believe I just said that. It's like, I hate to use, it feels like a mixture between Soho and, no, it's like Soho. it's like if you could make Soho sort of more suburban. And I say Soho because it's not like, maybe even more sort of like West Village, not Greenwich Village, but like West Village proper, I think is more accurate, where it's like a lot of cute restaurants. Unfortunately, you can feel there's a certain level of affluence, which is nice to a certain degree because everything is beautiful, and also like icky because I always want to see more brown faces, always. In any given scenario, so that'd be my only like slight complaint. But I'm kind of on this border, right, where it's like I'm sort of a couple blocks this way to like the really fancy place where all the people with the money live, and then a couple blocks to this place, Koreatown, which seems like a lot more sort of just like cute and funky, great, incredible food. So why did I bring that up? Because, so when I was looking at apartments and I decided to get this apartment, one of my dearest friends, Tony Trucks, who lives here, who saw this apartment for me and FaceTimed me and, sort of helped me find this place. When I was saying, do I have to get a car right now because like it's so expensive and I would like to try to make it through the end of the year without having to spend that money and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, yeah, I think her and a few people out here were sort of like, I mean, yeah, you can kind of do LA without a car. I mean, it's tough. It's especially tough now during COVID, but like in your neighborhood, you can walk around to a lot of places, whatever. So my plan was to move here and to get here and maybe try to rustle up some work and not buy a car until maybe January, February of next year. Well, that lasted for about a week, a week and a half, and I'll tell you why. In New York, you could literally be like, I live in Harlem and I'm gonna walk to the Lower East Side today, and no one would blink an eye and be like, oh, I'm Ferris, like have fun, like that's great, get your steps in on your Fitbit. Like we walk everywhere. In Los Angeles, I swear, walking across the street to the gas station to buy a pack of gum, you can just feel eyes on you like, are you okay? Like, why are you walking? Like, people don't walk here, like, at all. It's also it's not a walking city. Like, it's just a different vibe, number one. Number two, what I failed to sort of think about is I just sort of thought, well, I'll walk the majority of places, and if I absolutely have to, I will take a Lyft. And I did that like once or twice. And the problem is you get into a Lyft, even with the shield, even with the mask and gloves and hand sanitizer and all this, it's so hard to not be like, oh my God, don't get COVID, don't get COVID, don't get COVID, don't get COVID. Like, because you don't know. And every time you get in a car, you're sort of exposing yourself. So this is all a long way of saying I sort of very quickly felt like, especially just moving into a new place, you've got to go to Target 10 times a day. You've got to go to the hardware store. You've got to go, grocery shopping, like sort of all those things. And it just felt like too much to try to walk to all these places, to be in lifts, or to be asking my friends for rides every 5 minutes. So I started looking at cars. I ended up finding this freaking amazing deal on a 2003 Toyota RAV4. It only had 70,000 miles on it. These cars are supposed to go well over 200,000 miles. And I guess the woman who sold it back to the dealership was an older lady who said all she did was either drive to work or Costco between 2 and 3 miles a day. So I got a great deal on it. And I'm bringing this up as a new thing I've experienced because I haven't had a car. Like, that part of like my life, like a lifestyle thing, has not been a part of my adult life. So now in my 30s, my friends and family have been making fun of me because I get into my car and I am so excited. I feel like I'm 16. I'm like, oh my God, I get to drive to Target. Oh my God, wait, there is a Target. Like, it's like, these are the things, excuse me, that do feel like really nice and make your life feel a lot easier in a lot of ways. Just the freedom to just go anywhere. And it's not like, let's take the 2 to the A to the F to the 7 to a bus shuttle train. You know what I mean? It just is nice. So that's like, no one's keeping score. I mean, literally, LA will never win over New York to me because I've been in a long-term relationship with New York for 15 years. But I'm going to give a little teeny tiny point to New York. To LA for just the car thing, because it's really nice. It's a cool thing. So that's my first thing. What's my second thing? I'm looking at my list. One thing I miss about New York, I mean, there's so many things, but let's start simple this first time around. What I miss is Bleeker's Finest Deli, my deli on the corner of my little cross streets, Sullivan and Bleecker. There's a little deli on the corner that I've gone to more times than I can count, either to grab a Smart Water, a LaCroix, I mean, get real, like being out, like drinking, having fun, and it's a late night, and I'm like, I want a grilled cheese, he's gonna do it. Getting up in the morning, being like, I want to have a bagel sandwich. Let me tell you, the sandwich to get, it is egg white, turkey bacon, cheddar cheese, tomato, avocado on a scooped out, toasted, everything bagel. Try it and literally get at me and tell me it's not the best thing. One more time. That's egg white, turkey bacon, cheddar cheese, tomato, avocado. It's a double fat. Avocado cheese is fierce. On a scooped out, toasted, everything bagel. You could do just regular. I do scooped out because I have the nerve to be like, I'm trying to be healthy, which is literally like why. But I miss that deli. I miss the ability to, at any time, day or night, leave my house and see my friends who work behind the cash register, to know that I can come in there at 9 a.m. for a bagel. I can come in there at 3 a.m. because I've been out late and I want a little munchie, like, and it's just, it feels like home, and I miss it. I miss the closeness of New York. I miss, like, I don't know. It's so interesting, right? I mean, hindsight's always 2020, but it's easy to be in New York and be like, everything's so close. I mean, everything's like so close and on top of you, and like, you know, delis, whatever. There's just delis everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? It's just so easy to sort of get into that frame of mind. But being in LA right now, I'm like, oh man, what I would kill for that bagel sandwich. You know, what I wouldn't do to be able to walk in and grab my little Smart Waters from the place that I know they're at. Or yeah, so that's a big thing I miss about New York today and every day. Last but not least, I'm going to show you some great finds. You are not going to believe what has happened, what is happening. And the thing is, I'm going to show you a handful of things. I'm saying that I'm saving things, but it's like, truly, I have already acquired so many things. We could literally talk about it for hours and hours on end, and I wouldn't be halfway through the things I've gotten. What I will tell you, for anybody who's interested in antiquing and estate sales and all of this, LA is the spot, particularly Southern California. I don't even really know why. I'm sure I'll gain enough information to be able to discern why it's so much better here than on the East Coast. But first and foremost, the prices are like half the price of what they'd be in New York. Just like knowing, like, oh, what a credenza would cost, what end tables would cost, what, like, you know, a teak dining room table would cost, like all these sort of things. And you go to these nice stores, not even estate sales or whatever. You're like, I mean, that's still $400 to $500 less than it would be in New York. That's half of what it would be in New York. It's really crazy. So late last week on Friday, I believe, I randomly was like, you know what, let me try and see if any estate sales are open, if what they're doing with their COVID practices, whatever. There was one maybe 20 minutes from me in Burbank, and I read on the website that they were taking appointments and they were being really cautious, and everyone was getting their temperatures checked, and I think they were only letting 1 or 2 parties in. And for those of you that haven't done estate sale stuff, you are basically going to a person's or a family's home. So a lot of times it's like, you know, if a person has passed, may they rest in peace, their family comes and gathers all the things that are important and sort of memorable. And then when they decide to sort of sell off the rest of the stuff, the china, the, you know, some of the furniture, you know, lighting or whatever, they'll have an estate sale. So this is what I've sort of gone to, right? And estate sales are a lot of times a great place to get really great deals, especially if you can find a way to go on the final day of an estate sale, like, or even better, the final hours of an estate sale are incredible, because that's when all of a sudden the price tags are slashed in half, and it's 50% off, it's 70% off, it's 80% off, it's 90% off. So I happened on this one random estate sale, and it was a gold mine. It took me on like a bigger tear over the weekend of going to multiple estate sales. Then I went to the Antique Mall in Pasadena. I went to the Antique Mall in Long Beach. I went to like another Antique Mall in Long Beach. I got these pamphlets about antiquing in Santa Barbara and San Diego and Palm Springs. So we've got a lot to talk about in these upcoming months. But let me show you my first favorite find. Now you look at this and you go, oh my God, this is freaking adorable. Look at this cute little thing. Like, it's just like a little cute little figurine to sort of put around to display. But what you don't realize is that it is a functional, what? She's a wine opener. Get into this. Like, I am so sorry. I was obsessed with this thing before I even knew I did anything. And then I picked it up and I was like, excuse me? So, haven't named them yet. I don't want to gender them, because why? I'm genderless. Maybe they're just like, don't identify. But if you have a name for this fierce being, I'd love to hear it. Let me give you, oh my God, there's so many things. The sign game is off the hook. Look at this. I wonder if I can pull back and see it. If you can see, this is an old vintage sign from, the woman told me, from this like, I think diner, like small diner in the Midwest or something. It's actually in quite good condition in the center. You can kind of see where on the corners, but and you see the prices: eggs and bacon 35 cents, biscuit and gravy 25%. I just saw this thing and I thought it was so cute. I believe this was all of $6. Get into that. Okay, just like live with that. I'm trying to really pace this up. This is actually, this is random. This is not antiquing, but this is more just like very indicative of LA. I feel like every store in LA, or you go into stores, like stores that are specifically like for gifts. Like it's like a million cute little like little things that are all they're displayed in a way to make you feel like if you don't buy this thing, you're an idiot. Like, why wouldn't you spend $35 on these like matches or something? Like, it's very that, but I feel like every store in LA is art designed to sort of feel like that. I bought these sort of going like, this is ignorant and we know this, but I'm still gonna buy them. There's this pack of music oracles to where, I'm gonna open this up. The idea is, and of course my mind goes, oh, I'm just gonna put this like on the coffee table, and this will be so cute because then every day anybody can come over and have their little sort of like reading, right, anytime they come. So I pick one card. The card is, this is hilarious, you're gonna find out later, but it's Barbara Streisand, and this card says, fake it till you make it. It's easy to fool yourself, but hard to fool an audience. If you can't go right to the top, find somewhere else to go. Now, I have no idea why this saying is associated with her. This seems just like kind of like a random canned line that a writer wrote and then they put her picture on it. I know, but I love the idea and the concept that you can go and get like your like musical oracle, like Bruce Springsteen. Let's read what he has to say. There will always be magic, even on the darkest nights. May your mistakes, like your sins, be your own. Follow the river, but keep your eyes on the sea. Again, what? I don't know. Everybody stop judging me about this, but I think it's a cute idea. So anyway, feels very LA to have purchased music oracle cards. Like, it's actually embarrassing that I just talked about that, but I did. Let me show you. Oh my God, this is like estate sale heaven. So this is real crystal, everybody. Look at this glass. Look at this. Look at this. I don't know if you can see the starburst on the bottom. Just the finishing, the set of 4. I want you to know at this estate sale, the price tag for the set, I believe, was $40 or $50. But I had gotten there in the final hour, and I was the last person to walk through the house. And when I brought these glasses out and I said, how much are these glasses? And the woman said, how much do you want to give me for them? And I said, $5. And she said, sold. And I want you to know what I spent another $5 on. The matching a decanter. Now, immediately, some of you are going, work, and I would agree with you. Look at this. Some of you are going, what is a decanter and what will she use that for? And what I want to say to you is correct. I don't know what I'll use it for, but I know that it's cute. I know that it's going to look really cute on the bar that I'm going to put in the corner. I know it's going to look really cute when I have a holiday party in 17 years and we can all have parties again. And I'm going to put a cute little iced tea, or I'm going to make some kind of holiday concoction and pour these in. Like, I'm going to definitely use this probably only 4 times in my life, but I'm going to tell you what, it costs $10. And this is pure crystal. I am becoming my mother. Like, I can feel it moment by moment, just buying things just because they're cheap. You know what I mean? I can't actually say that about my mom. My mom is actually more frugal than me, but it's more the obsession. It's like less even the thing and more about the cost of the thing. That you know a thing is worth something, and then you spend a small amount. You're just like, sorry, sold. Second to last thing, this is pretty iconic. A vintage Wiener Schnitzel sign. Can you see this? Can you believe it? This was at the Pasadena Antique Center. A couple floors. I found a lot of things there. Well, I'll show you some other stuff next month. But this is one of my favorite things. Chili cheese dog, 42 cents. Corn dog, 45 cents or 30 cents. I don't know what was happening there. Maybe there were 2 different selections, but I just love this thing. And I spent, I'm not going to tell you how much. I can't be so fully like a senior citizen already, being like, I spent $8 like on everything, but it really was like not very much money. And I'm so excited to hang this in like my kitchen, like dining room area. Now the last thing, the most important thing, the thing that we're going to close on today, the reason why you're all here. What was the big find? What was the most special, most outrageous, most incredible thing? This, not the first estate sale, but the second or the third estate sale I went to in that one day. Because when I went to that first one, I got like literally an adrenaline high, and I was like, what else? What else can I find for $10? So I started driving around, and the last estate sale I went to that day, it was again sort of the end of the day. Literally, there had been a couple right before me that went in because I'm letting only one party go in at a time. And that couple, I heard the door open and the guy go, I mean, there's nothing in here. I mean, do you want to stay? And she was like, no. Like, so I was like, oh no, it might be a bunch of duds. And I sort of was looking around and I was like, well, I can maybe get this, or maybe do that. And then I walked downstairs to the basement and I saw what felt like a sign from God, quite honestly. It felt like, wow, I'm in the right place at the right time. I made the right move. I'm at the right estate sale. I found a friend until the end. One Barbra Streisand. Now, don't be dismayed. We're a little concerned because where's the second half of her body? Don't worry. The second half of her body is in the hallway or something. Is in a box. I have to figure out how to actually unpack her. I mean, this is just what a hilarious mess. As you're sort of guessing, at a different time in life, they used to do these like big old displays inside of like record stores. Remember that? When they used to sell like physical copies of records or cassette tapes or CDs or anything like that. And it would be like a floor display. So this goes into like sort of the bottom half of her and it would just sort of stand up on its own. Because this is from the 70s, I'm going to have to fashion old Barbara to like a yardstick or a broom or something to get her to stand up. But I saw her in the corner crumpled up and I brought her upstairs and I said, how much for Barbara? And the woman looked at me in the eyes and she said, $1. $1 for this treasure. $1 for this incredibly important cultural and musical figure. $1. Now, some of you might not know, many of you might not know, I am a bit obsessed with this woman. I know there are lots of things to be said about her. I know she's probably a troubled human being, but she was/is incredibly important to me and incredibly formative to me growing up. I grew up in a super conservative family where I wasn't allowed to listen to any secular music, but for some reason my parents okayed Ella Fitzgerald and they okayed Barbra Streisand, and because I was super interested in musical theater, I got interested in musical theater really through hearing her records, through hearing her live at the Bonsoir and singing songs from different musicals. I started reading her like biographies about her. I mean, literally, I was 12 years old and I would save up my allowance and ask my mom to take me to the hospice thrift store to buy her records. I was obsessed at the youngest of ages. So when I saw this, I thought, I can't imagine not bringing her home. It's ridiculous. And yet I am going to find a way to display her, and I'll make sure to show you where she goes once she's all spruced up and ready to go. So anyway, this is sort of it, I think, for the first episode. I am super excited to be in LA, and I equally miss New York City. I already feel like the good thing about being somewhere else is it makes me realize how much I love my home, New York, how much I love where I'm from, where I feel like I've spent the majority of my adult life, you know, so I miss it. I miss New York. But New York is in LA right now because I feel like a New Yorker walking down these streets, driving down these highways. I'm as New York as it gets right now. So I can't wait to keep sort of talking to you guys about my experience here, what I'm learning about Los Angeles, what I miss about New York, and what I'm finding in these crazy corners of this place. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope it's giving you a little bit of joy. Hope this is giving you a little bit of joy, and I miss you. I can't wait to be in person again. I know it'll happen, and I believe it'll happen sooner than later. I love you. I'll see you soon. See you next month. Bye.